It's the summer of 2004, and a story of youth in full bloom is just getting started at Zhenhua High School. A group of mischievous kids sneaks onto campus after hours, carrying snacks and candles as they slip into one of the classrooms. Our leading lady is a girl with a round, adorable face and a cute mushroom haircut. Her name is Gang. The boy who grabs her hand and helps her climb over the school wall is Zhenhua, a basketball-loving, top-of-the-class kind of guy who always has his eyes set on something bigger. After dodging security cameras in every corner of the building, the group finally makes it inside. Their grand mission: watch the school's TV for free. Unfortunately, the TV won't turn on until Zhenhua steps up and figures it out. The kids huddle around the screen to cheer on their country's track and field team. Even as the security guard bangs on the door, they refuse to leave until the last race is done and their team wins. Then they scatter and run for their lives. Fast forward to August 31st, 2018. Gang lives with her dad. Now that her parents are divorced, she's an average student with average grades, but she just got into Zhenhua, one of the top high schools in the entire country, and that's no small thing. Gang loves photography. To her, a photo is a way of holding on to the everyday moments and the ones that really matter. On her way to school, her camera slips and falls into someone's yard. She can't reach it, and she ends up getting her head stuck between the iron bars trying. Zhenhua shows up, retrieves the camera, and frees her head from the bars. Later, when she checks the seating chart posted on the bulletin board, she finds out she's been assigned to sit right next to Zhenhua. Some things are just meant to be. Even their names, placed together, carry a meaning, a lingering feeling in the heart. After that first memorable day of school, Gang goes out to eat with both her parents. She's cheerful as she tells them about her day, though deep down, she wishes she could spend more time with her mom. The next morning, during military training, both Gang and Zhenhua show up in the wrong uniforms. Turns out, when she fell into him the day before, they accidentally swapped bags. They sneak off to the bathroom to change and return each other's things, but in the shuffle, Zhenhua's MP3 player gets confiscated by a teacher. He blames Gang and reminds her about it constantly, everywhere they go. Trying to get the MP3 back lands Gang in trouble again and again, earning her one scolding after another. That evening, feeling low, she calls her mom to talk. Her mom says she's busy, gives a few quick words, and hangs up. On her way back to her dorm, Gang stumbles on Zhenhua and Mo grilling food outside. She tries a bite and it's actually good. She wonders out loud why the model students always seem to do the most rule-breaking things. Zhenhua tells her he has his own vision. He's going to get into Tsinghua University, go to America for graduate school, and become a physicist. Then the two boys wander off to find more food, leaving Gang to watch the fire. Naturally, a teacher finds them. As punishment, Gang and Zhenhua are assigned to clean the storage room. Halfway through sweeping, she sits down and starts crying like a little kid. Zhenhua sees her sobbing and quietly takes over. When they finish, the two sit side by side, sharing earphones and copying out their punishment lines together. Early the next morning, the whole campus is woken up by an announcement blasting through the loudspeakers. A piece of Teacher Han's clothing has been raised up the flagpole. The voice is so loud it rouses a student named Lu Xingye, who walks out and calmly admits he did it. Lu Xingye is a troublemaker by reputation, but he has a soft spot for Gang. Whenever she's feeling down, he's always the first one there. He ends up confessing his feelings to her 54 times over the course of the story and gets turned down every single time. Back in class, Teacher Han tries to get everyone to line up and form Chinese characters, but the attempt is a disaster. Zhenhua steps in, and using nothing but math and spatial reasoning, he gets the whole thing sorted in an hour. That evening, the class sits together on the beach, singing and playing games. Gang gets to pinch Zhenhua's ear, and somehow all her worries just disappear. The following morning brings a placement exam. Everyone else is focused and working through their papers. Gang, on the other hand, keeps looking around, not able to answer a single question. After school, she goes to dinner with her dad, where she meets the woman who will become her stepmother, a woman who already has a child of her own. Gang handles it gracefully and doesn't make a scene. The next school morning, she's anxious and restless, convinced her low test score will get her expelled from Zhenhua. A senior student reassures her it's just a scare tactic. The school doesn't actually expel anyone. She walks into class feeling instantly lighter. Seating gets rearranged based on scores, and Gang ends up at the back of the room next to a stuck-up classmate who, within just a few days, crumples her notebook. The next morning, the class has homework to turn in. Gang didn't know about it because her seatmate never told her. Teacher Han lays into her again. Yu-Hui watches her get picked on and decides to move his seat next to hers. After school, Gang's mom picks her up. As usual, her mom doesn't ask much, just says she's busy and can't be around more. Gang quietly tells her that her dad is getting remarried. The next day in class, a girl named Zhang Zhao starts insulting everyone around her for being bad students. That pokes the wrong people, and a full-on argument breaks out. When teacher Zhang Ping arrives, Yu-Hui formally requests a seating change and challenges the teacher to a competition. If a student wins, the teacher agrees to let everyone reshuffle seats. They go back and forth until the score is tied. Then teacher Zhang Ping puts up a physics problem and says whoever solves it wins. Yu-Hui solves it. The whole class gets to move, and Yu-Hui ends up at the back row with Gang. He doesn't mind at all. After school, Gang goes home to find her mom has come by and wants to transfer her to a different class. Just because teacher Zhang Ping is a recent graduate, Gang refuses, and her mom gets annoyed. She takes down her own wedding photo, drops the house key on the table, and leaves. The attitude is enough to make anyone uncomfortable. Meanwhile, Lu Xingye shows up to class and within 3 minutes has already shoved his desk to the back of the room. The teacher kicks him out. Lu Xingye simply picks up his desk and carries it over to Gang's classroom. He sits right behind her and spends the whole time poking fun at her. The teacher pulls him aside and lectures him, but teacher Han tells teacher Zhang Ping to keep Lu Xingye in his class. He believes he can straighten the kid out. Gang finishes her classroom duties and heads home, where her dad has made braised fish and bought her a soda. She asks her dad if he'll still love her after everything changes. It's a heartbreaking question. When parents split up, it's always the kids who carry the weight of it. The next day at school, Gang quietly asks teacher Zhang Ping about the year-end class rankings for 11th and 12th grade. He tells her to focus on studying. She says it's not really for her. He understands immediately and hands over the list. She rushes to show Yu-Hui. She's ranked 1st in class and 15th in the whole grade. Lu Xingye snatches the paper and teases her about being last. At lunch, Gang just wants him to go back to his own class. Having him sitting behind her all day makes it impossible to concentrate. During geography class, the teacher catches Lu Xingye spacing out and calls on him to answer. He rambles out a few funny lines, and the teacher lets it go with a laugh. Then Yu-Hui stands up and gives a precise, well-reasoned answer. The whole class applauds. Lu Xingye immediately stands up to argue the point, offering his own sharp counter-argument. Yu-Hui fires back. The debate goes back and forth, and Gang sits in the middle of it all, with her hands over her ears. On the way out, Lu Xingye slips her a drawing he made of her covering her ears. It's actually really cute. Later, he borrows her camera and takes her out on his electric scooter to shoot scenery. He brings her to a beautiful stretch of coastline and keeps shooting. Standing there looking at the sea, Gang says something that perfectly captures how she feels. Lu Xingye keeps the energy going and takes her around to photograph more of the world around them. Back at school, Yu-Hui and the others are worried she's skipping class. On the rooftop, Lu Xingye and Gang shout everything that's been weighing them down. School, exams, Zhenhua, all of it. Their fears turn out to be nearly identical. Lu Xingye tells her he believes he'll find his own path someday. Then he takes a few portraits of her to keep. That evening, Gang shows up late to a family dinner. Everyone around the table praises her for getting into Zhenhua, and she awkwardly goes along with it. She runs to a shop to buy film and finds it sold out. But Lu Xingye shows up, hands her her backpack, and says goodbye. When she opens it, it's filled with rolls of film. Back at school, Yu-Hui has been quietly straightening her pen for her. The next morning, she arrives to find Lu Xingye's desk gone from the room. She feels a small pang of sadness. Yu-Hui asks where she disappeared to yesterday. She just smiles and says something special happened. That night, she looks back through the photos Lu Xingye took and has to admit the guy really does know how to shoot. Not long after, Gang arrives at school to find everyone dressed in cheerleading gear. There's a basketball tournament today, and Yu-Hui is playing. She promises to photograph him, and he agrees. But teacher Pan pulls her aside and assigns her to shoot for a visiting Japanese student delegation. Lu Xing gets roped in as interpreter since he went to elementary school in Japan. Gang trudges back to class fuming. She's lost her chance to shoot for Yu-Hui. When she tells him, he gets a little irritated. Sure enough, without her in the stands, Yu-Hui keeps getting distracted during the game and gives up easy points. She sneaks away on the pretense of using the bathroom, runs past the basketball court just to watch him play, and even brings a bottle of water. But by the time she gets close, house, someone else has already handed him one. She watches from a distance, bottle in hand. The next morning she hears the full story from her friends and is absolutely gutted. She's sulking at Yu Huai for accepting water from someone else without waiting for her. During Teacher Han's class, Yu Huai gets caught passing notes about the basketball game and is sent to stand outside. In the second game, he plays with an edge, almost gets into a fight on the court, but still pulls through with a strong performance. At lunch, Gang Jiang sits next to him, and he asks if Chen Mai came to watch. She doesn't answer. She keeps getting pulled away to shoot for the school delegation, but can't stop glancing at the clock, counting the minutes until she's free. Eventually she asks Teacher Pan for 15 minutes off to photograph the basketball team. He sends Lu Xingye to drag her back. Out on the court, she tries to hand Yu Huai a water bottle, but Lu Xingye drinks the whole thing before she can reach him. Back with the delegation, Teacher Pan scolds her again, and she barely pays attention. She's just sad she can't do the things she actually wants to do. At home that afternoon, she finds her little stepbrother playing with her toy airplane, a birthday gift from her parents when she was 10. She doesn't get angry, she just quietly goes to her room and calls her mom, crying. Her mom tells her to stop sweating the small stuff and focus on school. When Gang finally gets her film developed, the photos she took for the school look terrible, while the ones she sneaked of Yu Huai are beautiful. She tears up the bad ones and goes to beg Lu Xing for help. He refuses, of course. At first, he teases her and says she has to do something for him first. She gives up and walks away. Back in class, she's still giving Yu Huai the silent treatment over the water incident. He eventually hands her a reluctant, half-hearted, written apology. The day of the basketball finals, Gang Jiang is still stuck shooting for the school, so she walks up to the Japanese students with a microphone and tells them there's a basketball game happening and they all want to go watch. Lu Xingye happily plays along. She leads the whole delegation to the gym. During the game, Yu Huai takes a bad fall. Gang Jiang walks him up to the nurse's office, patches him up with a pain relief patch, and shows him the photos she took of him playing. He tells her she has a real gift for photography and ruffles her hair. Something shifts for her that afternoon. She doesn't dislike him the way she did when they first met. Later, Gang is drowning in homework she couldn't finish because of all the photography assignments. Yu Huai quietly warns her to stop hanging around Lu Xingye if she wants to get into college. In class, Zhang Nianian and some of the others set up a little makeshift ritual to pray for good scores on the upcoming test. Right as the teacher walks in, Teacher Pan summons Gang, and she's terrified. She goes to Lu Xingye again asking for help. He teases her again, wanting her to do something in return. She storms off. Teacher Pan hunts her down like he's running a police operation, and she runs from him like a fugitive. When she's finally cornered in the open schoolyard with nowhere to go, she makes up an excuse to buy more time. Teacher Zhang Ping sets a firm deadline. The photos are due that afternoon. Gang racks her brain and comes up with an idea. She can composite the shots together. She gets Lu Xingye to call the Japanese delegation back for one more photo. Then they edit Teacher Pan's face into the frame. In 2008, the technology is rough, but they pull it off. And all of this has caused Yu Huai to think Gang doesn't care about studying, that she's just messing around. That evening, Gang's mom calls her out and hands her a new cell phone. She accepts it, but it doesn't make her feel better. She doesn't need things. She needs her mom to be around. The next day, Zhang Nianian circulates an exam prep sheet. Yu Huai glances at it and solves it in seconds. Gang sneaks photos of Teacher Pan everywhere she can find him. She and Lu Xingye sneak into the boys' bathroom, which he's rigged up to work like a darkroom, and spend the afternoon working side by side, doctoring the photos. The next morning, Zhang Nianian passes the prep sheet to Gang Jiang. She stares at it blankly. Even with the sheet, she wouldn't know what to do with it. She finally tells Yu Huai the truth about the photos. He realizes he had it all wrong. And just like that, the tension between them dissolves. He carries her pile of books and offers to walk her home. The exam bell rings, and it turns out Zhang Nianian's prep sheet was almost perfectly aligned with the actual test, right down to the numbers. On the way out, Teacher Pan stops Gang, but instead of scolding her, he praises how well his portrait turned out and wonders why she kept it a secret. Gang walks away glowing, a good exam and a compliment from Teacher Pan in the same day. For the first time, school actually feels like it's going her way. Around this time, rumors spread through the school that Gang is dating some mystery boy. Even she has no idea who it's supposed to be. The class president is meanwhile scrambling to find students with talent for an upcoming school anniversary competition. He goes around asking everyone what they're good at. Gang Gang's only real talent, she says, is sleeping. Eventually, the class lands on Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Gang Gang daydreams about playing the princess, while Yu Huai plays the prince, reaching out to take her hand. With that image in her head, she signs up on the spot. Lu Xingye pulls Gang Gang out behind the school building to show her the beautiful light there. She keeps her distance, nervous that people will think they're a couple. She tells him not to come looking for her for at least 2 weeks. Meanwhile, play rehearsals begin, and it's more playing around than actual rehearsal. They get maybe 2 lines out before the bell rings, and teacher Zhang Ping gives them a thorough talking to, though it probably won't stick. Gang Gang takes the play seriously, going home to run her lines by herself. She ends up being the fastest to memorize them and the most dedicated of the group. Around the same time, teacher Pan notices that teacher Zhang Ping's class all got unusually high physics scores and demands an explanation. Teacher Zhang Ping agrees to have one. When the day of the performance arrives, Gang Gang is trembling. She's never stood in front of a crowd like this. Earlier, she wanders over to the spot Lu Xingye showed her and takes a photo that comes out genuinely beautiful. He spots her from across the yard, walks over, and says, "See, I told you the light here was something." She remembers she's needed backstage and rushes off. When class 10-5's number comes on, what looks like a shaky start transforms the moment the witch character takes off her glasses and plays it totally straight. The audience is in stitches. But teacher Pan, watching footage from a security camera, spots the scene of Gang Gang getting pulled into the boys' bathroom by Lu Xingye and concludes she must have stolen an exam paper. After the show, Gang Gang and Yu Huai sit together in the audience seats. She tells him she's wanted to sit beside him like this for a long time. He smiles, then teacher Pan storms over and unloads on her. Gang Gang writes out a full explanation, the ruined photos, the darkroom, all of it. But that's not even what teacher Pan is asking about. He wants to know if she touched his lesson plans, if she used his computer. She says no. He decides to investigate himself. He goes to the classroom, writes a problem on the board, and calls 2 students up. They both get it completely wrong. He's furious. He strips teacher Zhang Ping of his homeroom duties and voids all the students' scores. Everyone's face falls. Teacher Zhang Ping keeps teaching like nothing happened. He calls in Yu Huai, suspecting he was the one who worked out the answer key for the class to copy. Zhang Nianian panics. She doesn't want anyone else to take the blame, but when she gets up to confess to teacher Pan, fear overtakes her and she can't say the words. Gang Gang goes to find another teacher to help. That teacher speaks to teacher Pan, and he quietly backs down from giving out 0 scores. The kids who've been hiding around the corner eavesdropping come running out to thank him. A few days later, teacher Pan's class gets an official announcement. The physics retake will be held on the weekend. The whole class exhales. Gang Gang gets back to studying, and Lu Xingye tries to pull her away for more photography assignments. She turns him down. Yu Huai stands at the front of the room and walks the whole class through the physics material. On test day, the class performs well. Teacher Zhang Ping walks in to deliver the results. Their class ranked 3rd in the grade. Everyone erupts. Zhang Nianian stands up in tears and apologizes to the whole class. Gang Gang clutches her paper, thrilled. She got a high score without the answer key this time. Yu Huai tells her she must have had a flash of brilliance. Lu Xingye passionately rambles on to a little boy about his artistic ideals. Even though the kid has absolutely no idea what he is talking about, Lu Xingye is just happy to share his thoughts. Over at Zhenhua High School, an important parent meeting is taking place. Teacher Zhan leads the session with a packed classroom of parents. The mother of Yu Huai is also there. She is a strict woman who takes immense pride in her son and sets incredibly high expectations for his academic performance. Her expression instantly drops the moment she looks at his report card. Teacher Zhang announces that Yu Huai has been slipping academically lately. He adds that the boy is constantly distracted in class and often sneaks out after school to play video games. The teacher notes that he usually hangs out with a female classmate named Chen Shuijun, and the 2 of them seem to have grown pretty close. This news leaves his mother absolutely furious and completely panicked. She immediately assumes that the girl is a bad influence who is making her son lazy. Seeing her intense reaction, teacher Zhang quickly steps in and tries his best to calm her down. But back at Yu Huai's house, his parents are losing sleep. They found out he'd been hanging around a girl named Chen Shuijun back in middle school, and it had wrecked his grades. He'd even considered running away from home right before a major exam. His mother is terrified of history repeating itself. Gang Gang chases after Zhang Nianian and ends up walking with Yu Huai. His hand is bandaged, but it's just a light scrape on the surface. She's still a little hurt over the thing with his mom. Apparently his mother came to the school and asked that they be separated, so she's been giving him the cold shoulder. In the physics lab, they sit at opposite ends of the room like strangers. At home that night, her younger cousin asks her about her love life, and she's mortified. She can't believe a kid in elementary school is asking her this. The next day at school, she corners Yu Huai's best friend Zhou and asks about Chen Shejun. Zhou is loyal and doesn't say a word until Gang raises a fist, at which point he gives up everything. Turns out Chen Shejun used to drag Yu Huai to internet cafes to play games, and his grades tanked because of it. He'd almost packed up and left home around exam season. Gang is getting the full picture. Mid-conversation, Zhou gets busted because some girl's boyfriend shows up and chases him all the way to school. Yu Huai steps in with a stick to scare the guy off. Right as teacher Pan appears and handles it, when the dust settles, everyone gets sent home to write a 2,000-word reflection. Later, Yu Huai scolds Gang for going through Zhou instead of just asking him directly. After all this, he tells her the truth. He'd lied to his mom and said his new seatmate was a boy. Afraid she'd make a scene again, Gang slips away to the beach where she runs into Lu Xingye. They sit at a little restaurant, both of them holding bottles of beer more for the look of it than anything else. Lu Xingye gets up on stage with a guitar and plays a song that's actually pretty good. She waves and tells him it moved her. They sit and talk for hours. He belongs to a different world than she does. He's chasing art, and she's just an ordinary girl. When she gets up to leave, a friend nearby asks Lu Xingye if he really likes her. He smiles. He really does. Meanwhile, teacher Zhang Ping intercepts Zhang Nianian in the hallway and pulls her into the office. Before he can say a word, she launches into a stream of excuses. He listens calmly and gently reminds her that dishonesty doesn't serve her well, without lecturing or making her feel small. That night, Zhang Nianian calls Gang and tells her she's decided to become the kind of student she can be proud of. Hearing that, Gang feels something stir in her too. The next morning, Gang gets up early to make breakfast for the whole house. The crashing and clattering brings her dad and her aunt, Ha, running in a panic, only to find their daughter standing in the kitchen, determined to be a better version of herself. During class, Yu Huai notices her struggling with a problem and moves to help. She waves him off. Because it's rare, she actually feels motivated to work through something on her own. When the bell rings, she's still sitting at her desk, deep in her homework. Teacher Zhang Ping comes in to announce a Friday outing. Everyone gets to go on a field trip, except Yu Huai, who has a physics competition that day. So it's just Lu Xingye and his teacher heading out, while Gang's whole class piles onto a bus. Teacher Han bikes Lu Xingye around all day looking exhausted. Teacher Zhang Ping leads the class on a mountain hike that leaves everyone breathless, except Zhang Nianian, who climbs energetically at the teacher's side. She's definitely developed a crush. Lu Xingye, for his part, gets taken to a polytechnic university to watch chemistry experiments, then treated to a bowl of noodles. He's happy. No class, good food, and something interesting to look at. At a tea shop, the three close girlfriends sit around talking about the people they like. Zhang Dan has been getting closer to someone. Zhang Nianian is giddy over her feelings for the teacher, and Gang doesn't know what to call what's happening between her and Yu Huai. Back in class, she brings a bird to school. Yu Huai tells her the cage keeps it safe, but flying free is what it's meant to do. She thinks about it and decides keeping it herself is best. She spreads out her math books with the confidence of someone who believes that if she tries hard enough, she and math will eventually get along. That morning, Zhang Nianian has spread out horoscope charts and is reading everyone's signs. Gang leans in to listen. Zhang Nianian reads that today is an incredibly lucky day for Aquarius. The god of love is shining directly on her. Gang immediately drifts into a daydream of her and Yu Huai holding hands, exchanging soft words. Jian Dan shakes her back to reality. That same day, Yu Huai is home with a fever of 38 degrees. His mom calls the school to excuse him, leaving Gang at her desk, sulking. So much for the stars aligning. During English class, she wants to call him, but hesitates and ends up texting his mom instead. Outside the classroom, she gets a reply, and it turns out it was Yu Huai texting back, not his mom. She feels immediately better. At lunch, Zhou sits down with the three girls and gives what sounds like expert romantic advice on how to confess feelings to a boy. It's entirely his own perspective and possibly not universal, but the girls hang on every word. Zhang Nianian is practically vibrating with excitement. Lu Xingye, overhearing all of this from nearby, asks Zhou if there's any chemical reaction that can happen without a catalyst. Zhou thinks about it and lands on sodium and water. Gang sits in class, not really paying attention, texting back and forth with Yu Huai. Inspired by the chemistry conversation, Lu Xingye sneaks into the lab, grabs a vial, and goes looking for Gang, but she's not in her seat. He gives up. At lunch, Jian Dan excitedly tells the group she finally had a real conversation with the person she likes. Zhang Nianian announces her teacher is going to take her her out for fried chicken. And Gang is still just texting Yu Huai, not knowing where things between them are going. She's daydreaming about a dramatic romantic moment when she suddenly feels someone standing right behind her. It's Yu Huai, asking if she's feeling okay. She jumps up and smacks him. They're laughing together when Lu Xingye walks over. He sees them and quietly turns around, still holding the chemistry vial. That same week, Jiandan and the boy she likes grow closer at the library, discovering a funny conversation written back and forth inside a borrowed book. And Zhang Nianian's schoolwork picks up noticeably now that she has a reason to impress someone. She's just getting every single answer wrong at the board. Lu Xingye waits outside for Gang and then, in front of the whole school, opens the vial and throws it into a puddle. Water explodes everywhere, soaking him completely. Teacher Pan comes roaring out and goes straight for Lu Xingye. The next day, Gang arrives at school to judgment from all sides. In class, Yu Huai cold shoulders her. She follows him wherever he goes. At lunch with her two friends, it's clear that while she only has eyes for Yu Huai, both friends are rooting for Lu Xingye. He's good-looking, talented, has money, and was willing to make a scene in front of everyone for her. Then Lu Xingye appears at school with a girl following close behind. No uniform, cigarette in hand, leaning into him. And just as Gang heads over to look for Yu Huai, she sees that same girl grabbing his arm, acting coy and familiar. She goes back to class looking miserable. Later Lu Xingye gets mocked by classmates and nearly snaps. Then he crosses over to Gang's class, waits outside the girl's bathroom for her to come out, takes her by the hand, and says things out in the hallway that linger in the air. Yu Huai walks by, sees it, and pulls Gang away. He's about to say something to her when Chen Shuijun shows up. She needs to talk to Yu Huai. She wants to know if he ever liked her. She'd always assumed the reason he used to sit with her was because of those feelings. He tells her directly, no, he never did. The bluntness of the answer hurts her deeply. She slaps him and walks away. Everyone watching flinches. During PE, Gang starts running, and Yu Huai chases after her. Their classmates think they've both lost their minds. Then mid-run, word comes that the class bird has died. The two of them stop and go to the bird, and one by one, the class pays quiet respects. On the way home that afternoon, Yu Huai spots Gang watching some baby chicks being sold on the street and tries to buy her one, but she stops him. Instead, she takes him to a rundown game room where he starts playing a soccer arcade game. She gets bored after a while and starts photographing him instead. Chen Shuijun shows up drunk, getting harassed by the owner. Yu Huai hears the commotion, recognizes her, and steps in. By the time they leave, it's dark, and Gang realizes she left her camera in the game room. While Yu Huai goes back for it, she and Chen Shuijun wait at a tea shop. Chen Shuijun, clearly not fully sober, asks point blank if Gang likes Yu Huai. Gang can't bring herself to answer. When Yu Huai returns, with scratches on his face from being roughed up at the game room, Gang admits to Chen Shuijun, yes, she does like him, but Chen Shuijun is too far gone to process it. She ends up getting sick all over the table. They wait too long for a ride, so Gang brings her home. The whole household is baffled by the stumbling, rambling stranger Gang has walked in with. After eating, Chen Shuijun catches her own reflection in the bathroom mirror, mascara everywhere, lipstick smeared, and screams for cotton pads and toner. Back in the living room, she keeps reaching for more drinks, muttering things no one can understand. When Yu Huai finally calls, Gang takes Chen Shuijun down to meet him. He takes her home, gets her into bed, and she won't let go of Gang's hand. Back in the day, even Yu Huai's old classmates hadn't liked Chen Shuijun much. She was a little reckless, a little lost. Yu Huai had come out of that period with scratches on his face and a clearer sense of what he didn't want. After Chen Shuijun falls asleep, Gang pokes Yu Huai's cheeks and asks about his cuts. When she gets home, her aunt is sitting in the hallway waiting with a letter. Gang takes it to her room and reads it with a small, quiet smile. The next morning, Lu Xingye is the first person she sees. She tries to hand his love letter back. He won't take it. Up in class, Yu Huai brings her a yogurt and a pastry for breakfast. He almost picks up the letter off her desk. She snatches it away. At break time, the class is stuck in a rehearsal for an upcoming choral competition. Nobody is actually rehearsing. Yu Huai is absorbed in his homework, and when Gang nudges him, he snaps at her. She drifts out to the schoolyard and ends up following a girl she notices into a ballet studio. That evening, she stands at the mirror doing little stretches, imagining herself as someone graceful and striking. The next morning, her mom picks her up for school, but is bewildered by what her daughter is wearing. Gang makes it to class, hoping Yu Huai will notice, but he doesn't notice. After school, Lu Xingye is waiting outside the gates. He pours on the compliments, takes her to a shopping center, and ends up buying her a scarf. Back in class, she keeps glancing guessing at it. Yuhua, meanwhile, keeps shooting her irritated looks. Then he texts her asking her to bring a pen up to the rooftop, where he says some things that hang in the air between them. When she comes back, a few classmates who were still rehearsing make her drag the speakers and equipment up by herself, as payback for being absent. On the way back, she runs into Yuhua heading to class. He sees the rehearsal isn't finished and turns around to go back to the roof, which frustrates her all over again. At the school gate at the end of the day, Lu Xingye rides up on his motorbike and hands her a letter along with a cup of bubble tea. Inside the school, Yuhua is just leaving the bathroom when a voice calls out from the girls' bathroom. Someone needs him to buy pads for her. He does it, looking deeply uncomfortable the whole time. As he walks out with the girl, Gang comes around the corner and sees them together. Her expression drops. The next day, the class has to clean the school grounds. Gang drags Yuhua along, but he's behind on exam prep and has to leave. She takes out her frustration on everything around her. When the class receives their choir uniforms, Yuhua returns in the middle of the distribution. She watches him pay attention to another girl and sulks alone until someone finally pulls her away to change. Once they're both in uniform, their eyes meet across the room and they smile. A friend yanks them together for photos. They look shy and sweet. Later on the rooftop, Yuhua tells her the scarf looks nice and ruffles her hair. She's glowing. The morning after, Yuhua is working on something in the schoolyard. Gang asks about the competition. He dodges the question, but then, during the school flag ceremony, he throws a pebble up at her from behind. He's been messing with her. The exam went great. He invites her out for lunch. They end up at a restaurant where the prices are steep enough to make them consider sneaking out, until the staff announces it's a grand opening special. Eat an enormous hamburger in one sitting, and it's free. If you can't finish it, you pay full price. They eat until they're both nearly choking, and with just a few bites left, they keep pushing the plate toward each other. Back in class, every time the choir lead tries to run through the song, someone finds an excuse to stop. The bell rings. A girl named Xiao comes over to compliment Gang on her scarf and suggests they go shopping together the next day. The next afternoon, Gang waits outside. When Xiao arrives, she suggests ice cream first. Sitting at the ice cream shop, she asks Gang a series of careful questions about what kind of person Yuhua is, whether he'd turn someone down if they came after him. Gang grows uneasy. On the way out, Xiao has the shop wrap up 2 cups to go and skips the shopping entirely. The scarf was just a pretext to meet her, and the whole conversation was about Yuhua. The next day at school, Gang goes to get water with Yuhua and notices his cup. It's the one Xiao bought for him. In the cafeteria, Xiao sits right down beside them and makes a point of giving Gang food, then slides dessert toward Yuhua. Gang is seething. That evening, she marches into the kitchen and cooks for the whole family. The result is edible in theory, but dangerously oversalted. The next morning, Xiao shows up at class with more food for Yuhua and asks him to play a music accompaniment for her. She invites Gang too, supposedly for company, but really to use her as the photographer. Xiao plays piano while Yuhua plays the horn. Later, when Gang develops the film, she shows her 2 best friends the photos. In every shot, she's framed Yuhua perfectly and cut Xiao cleanly out of frame. Back in class, choir practice gets more serious. Yuhua goes around having everyone sing one line individually to identify the weak spots. When it's Gang's turn, the room dissolves into laughter. She sneaks off to the school garden to practice alone and gets spotted by Lu Xingye, who offers a few suggestions. She rushes back to keep rehearsing. Lu Xingye, inspired by what he's seen, rents a full drum kit and band setup and puts on an impromptu performance in the schoolyard that draws a massive crowd of students. Gang heads over to find Yuhua in the music room, but finds him deep in a private conversation with Xiao, close enough to make her jaw tighten. She calls. He doesn't pick up. In a moment of pure exasperation, she pulls out the key to the practice room, locks both of them inside, and walks away. She's heading to the classroom to grab her bag when she hears drums nearby. She follows the sound. It's Lu Xingye who pulls her in and teaches her to play, knowing she needs the outlet. A while later, Yuhua comes out and calls for her to head home, but doesn't walk with her. At nightfall, Yuhua and Lu Xingye end up at a corner store, quietly competing to see who can drink more bottles of water. The shopkeeper stares. The next day is the interclass performance competition. Lu Xingye's act is solid. When Gang's class goes up, they grab the attention of the judges and audience alike. While they're waiting on results, Lu Xingye walks onto the stage uninvited and takes the mic. He announces he'll be leaving Zhenhua in a few days, and he performs one song dedicated specifically to Gang. The class ends up winning an honorable mention. Nobody celebrates. Xiao Yuhua quietly slips into a bathroom stall to cry by herself. Gang follows her in and tries to console her. She takes her up to the rooftop, the same spot where Yuhua always studies, and photographs her there. A moment later, Gang and Yuhua are sitting together watching the sea, when Lu Xingye appears beside them and tells Yuhua he'll buy him a drink next time. Gang raises an eyebrow. Not long after, class results come in. The class has moved up to 4th place in the grade. Everyone cheers. The teacher singles out Gang for improvement and credits her lucky star, meaning Yuhua. Walking home together, they eat ice cream in the cold and both end up with it stuck to their lips. At home, her family praises her progress and her dad rewards her with English tutoring. She is not thrilled. Studying through winter break feels like punishment. Her dad has to physically drag her out of bed the first morning. Coming out of English class one day, she gets a text she has to respond to immediately and tells Yuhua not to follow her. He follows her anyway and ends up having dinner with her and her dad. Later, watching her dad go on and on about how impressive Yuhua is, she smiles with quiet resignation. The next day out shopping with her best friends, they accidentally buy her something inappropriate. None of them realize what it is until they watch it that night. New Year comes, and her parents plan a small birthday surprise for her, except she's already made plans with her friends. Her dad gets upset, her aunt talks him down, and he eventually lets her go. Before she leaves, she's supposed to take her little stepbrother out to light firecrackers. The last one goes off wrong, and the boy collapses. She sprints upstairs to get the adults. In the panic, her stepmother shoves her hard, her head hits the wall, and she blacks out for a moment. Her friends are waiting at the birthday celebration, unable to reach her since her phone is still at her dad's place. Yuhua sits at the table looking deflated. He knocks over a cup of water and drops the present he'd prepared for her. The next morning, she wakes up early and tries calling him. He's playing games and doesn't pick up. She sets out on foot looking for him, thinking she hears his bike go by. Turns around, already gone. She goes to the internet cafe, doesn't find him there either, so she goes all the way to his house. A neighbor mistakes her for a burglar. Her stepmother comes home, hears the story, and charges into Gang's room with a knife raised. She quickly puts it down and sits with her, apologizing. Later, Gang gets everyone together again to make up for the missed birthday. Yuhua joins her, and they sit and talk about family, the messy, complicated, unasked for kind. At some point, a bit of dust blows into her eye, and the friends watching from a distance think the two of them are kissing. On her way home, Lu Xingye finds her and wishes her a belated happy birthday. They walk for a while, and before they part, he hands her a letter. Then a new semester begins. The whole class is buzzing but anxious. Everyone has to choose between the sciences and the humanities track. Yuhua already knows his path: sciences, Zhenhua, then abroad for a doctorate. At lunch, a teacher stops by to tell the story of a former student, someone who'd excelled in sciences, went on to study law, made serious money, then quit after 6 months, and used everything he earned to travel the world. The point is that the choice isn't as fixed as it seems. A student named Beta asks the teacher about it afterward and gets a dismissive response. She goes back to class and tears up her form in frustration. Gang goes off to find an older student to ask for advice. The hard part for her is that choosing the humanities track means being separated from Yuhua. She's still undecided when a letter arrives. She opens it at home. It's a collection of sketches from Lu Xingye, showing moments from his everyday life. Looking through them, she can see he's found something he's sure of. That gives her pause. The next day at school, students are signing up for the sports competition. Gang picks volleyball. Yuhua tries to coach her and accidentally hits her in the head with the ball. She walks away. He follows. She tells him she's decided on the humanities track. Both of them go quiet. Beta, sitting nearby, is already upset because she's just overheard that the teacher she likes is about to confess to someone else. The following morning, she stages a casual run-in with teacher John Ping, which leads to him inviting her for ice cream, and then somehow she ends up helping him pick out a new shirt and giving him a tie as a gift, walking him to his date, which the other woman doesn't even show up for. The two of them end up heading home in the dark. That night, Gang calls Lu Xingye for advice on the track decision. He invites her to come to Beijing just to clear her head. But he and Gang are very different. Humanities or sciences, it's apples and oranges. Teacher Jiang Ping, stood up and a little wounded, goes out drinking with a colleague until he's completely wrecked. Beta finds out, feels bad, and calls Gang. Both of them end up crying on the phone over their respective impossible feelings. The next morning, everyone is dragging their feet, dreading the decision. By the end of the day, Gang officially chooses humanities. Yuhua snaps the pen he's holding in half. The volleyball match arrives. On the very first play, Gang takes a ball straight to the face and her nose bleeds. Yuhua runs over immediately, but whatever the outcome, she had put in real effort effort and genuine improvement. Win or lose, just being surrounded by her friends makes it worth it. Some things don't need a result. The process is what deserves to be remembered. Life moves forward. She studies seriously in her new track class. Yuhai can't even sleep in peace in the next room. At night, she keeps working. Lu Xingye, far away now, thinks of her constantly. He calls. He even sketches her face on his exam paper. When he gets results and has a chance to return, the first thing he does is find her and drag her out to eat. After dinner, standing by the sea, he says things that leave the air between them heavy. Her face stays sad. Back at his house, Yuhai asks his mom again about the humanities track, hoping she'll budge. She won't. The next morning, students gather outside the school gate, looking at something on the wall. A painting. Lu Xingye has left there. When Gang arrives, he's standing across the street. It's time for him to say goodbye. He hands her a notebook filled with drawings of her. His figure grows smaller as he walks away. After the end of term exams, the group goes out to eat and then to a movie theater. In the dark, with everyone around them paired up, Yuhai quietly reaches over and takes Gang's hand during an emotional scene. Beta falls asleep next to them. After the film, they all go to a karaoke room, possibly the last time everyone will be in the same place. Beta decides things are too tame and brings back beer. Yuhai and Gang both end up a little drunk. He pulls her up to the mic. Beta looks at the two of them and opens her mouth to say something. Gang covers it with her hand. Then they're all crying and hugging each other. The night ends with a group photo. Yuhai drapes his arm over Gang's shoulders. They walk home together. He pats her head at the door before heading back. The break ends. A new day starts in class. Yuhai looks at the empty seat beside him and feels the absence. Then, Gang walks in. She changed her mind after all. For the people she cares about, she stays in the sciences. Yuhai breaks into a genuine smile. That term brings a new student to the class named Beilin, who immediately draws everyone's attention, especially Beta's, who senses something performative and off about her. Beilin ranked first in the last exam. The literature teacher comes in and hands back papers, calling out Yuhai for being among the 5 who failed Chinese. She draws a comparison to Beilin, and Beta's face hardens. During break, teacher Zhang Ping delivers a mild scolding to the group for slipping. Back in class, he announces a new study group system to get everyone back on track. After school, the friend group huddles to warn Jiandan about Beilin. They don't trust her. When the 3 girls walk together, Beilin slots in like a third wheel that doesn't quite fit. Later in the evening, Jiandan walks home with Beilin. Yuhai and Gang spend the evening at Beta's place, supposedly studying, but they end up playing cards until it's dark. When Gang finally gets home, her parents are tense and waiting. Her mom has already called the school and found out about her grades. She tells Gang that she's going to send her abroad to study. The next afternoon in the cafeteria, Jiandan keeps praising Beilin while Beta sits there visibly grinding her teeth. Beilin, from across the room, can hear every word. A couple of days later, Jiandan brings Beilin to eat with the group. Beta doesn't hide how she feels, and her words land hard enough to drive Jiandan away. After that, Jiandan and Beilin are everywhere together, walking right past Beta without a second glance. During Chinese class, Yuhai's essay is so far off that the teacher sends him out of the room. He falls asleep, leaning against the wall in the hallway. Beta tries to draw on his face while he's out there. Gang pulls her back. At volleyball practice, Beta hurls the ball down in front of Beilin and says what she's been holding in. Jiandan defends Beilin. Beta walks off and sits alone, looking devastated. Gang eventually gets both of them in the same place to talk it out, but they end up arguing in front of the school gates. Friendship fraying because of a person who's barely been in their lives. On the way home, Gang and Beta come across a woman sitting on the ground, sobbing. They find out her daughter has run away. The 2 girls agree to help look for her. After getting the Wi-Fi password at a nearby shop, they go to a computer cafe to research and discover Yuhai skipping class to play games. They rope Mo and Yuhai into the search. Across town, Jiandan is studying with Beilin, and when Beilin steps away, borrows a notebook from Hanshu and finds something she didn't want to know. By evening, she's walking home alone, crying. Yuhai's group locates where the missing girl might be and heads out, picking up Jiandan along the way. When they arrive, they spot a large man who matches the description. They corner him and demand answers, but he bolts. Just as he's running, Jiandan shows up and drops a trash can on his head. It turns out they had the wrong person entirely, and they scatter. Not long after, Gang gets a call. The girl's mother has found her daughter. On the way back, Beta is still cold toward Jiandan and only extends a hand to Gang. Eventually, the 3 of them end up sitting together on the beach. Jiandan apologizes. Things soften, but there's only 1 week left before Beta flies to Beijing to study. The warmth of the moment already has a shadow over it. The next day, Gang is quiet in the hallway, and Yuhai notices. The class president is also feeling the weight of Beta's departure. Gang quietly recalls something she once said in English. Hard times don't last, but those who hold on do. That evening, teacher Zhang comes to Gang's house for a meeting with her parents. He lays out her academic situation and suggests some options for university. Back in her room, staring at the tower of homework on her desk, she feels it closing in. Her mom keeps pushing for her to study abroad. The next morning, Ui calls out the mistakes in her homework before she's even sat down. Beta snaps at the class president and storms off to find teacher Zhang. In class, she pays no attention to him, just follows him everywhere. She's been feeling something for a while now and can't quite look away. Jiandan, heartbroken about what she found in that notebook, sits in the cafeteria, eating 2 full meals at once. After school, the 3 of them spend the whole afternoon together, taking photos, eating, talking, until they've drunk through a dozen bottles of beer and the night has fully come down around them, crying and laughing in the same breath. Beta dramatically flips the table, the one who comes along to clean everything up and walk Beta home is teacher Zhang. Gang calls Ui to come get her. He and Zhenhua show up and divide duties. Jiandan, very drunk, keeps talking and Zhenhua just sits watching her. Ui walks Gang home. She's the most coherent of the 3, but still a little unsteady. That night at the door, Beta tells teacher Zhang how she really feels about him. The next morning, all 3 girls go to the airport together. The class president is there too, and finally tells Beta the truth about how he feels, pulling her into a hug. She's the kind of friend who always showed up loudest in a crisis, who made everyone around her feel safe, no matter how lonely she felt inside. She was always the most spirited one in the room, and now she's gone. The distance between people is easiest to feel right after they leave. Time passes. Gang is a senior now. Standing on the school rooftop one afternoon, she reads a line left on the wall by someone who graduated before her. In class, a letter arrives from Lu Xingye, with Ui is not allowed to read this, written on the envelope. That night, Ui calls and teaches her through a problem on the phone. After she hangs up, she finally opens Lu Xingye's letter. A new day. Sitting beside Ui in class, she drifts. She realizes she wants to study film direction in Beijing. When her mom picks her up after school, she tries again to steer Gang towards studying abroad. But Gang's conviction about the film school has taken root, and there's nothing her mom can say to shake it. Jiandan follows Bei Lin and Han Shu and sees them together. She's gutted. Zhenhua shows up and punches Han Shu, then goes looking for Jiandan and can't find her. Gang, Ui and Zhenhua end up at Han Shu's building. Zhenhua points at his face and demands to know where Jiandan went. Han Shu had seen her watching and then disappear. He shoves Gang. She steadies herself and says clearly, everything Jiandan did for him, the daily routines, the small acts of care, came from her. He can choose not to like her, but he can't treat someone like they're nothing. The group searches every place they think she might go. Zhenhua notices a balloon with an image on it, remembers Jiandan once said she wanted to visit that place, and takes off running. The tunnel Ui and Gang have to walk through is pitch black. She's scared but keeps walking because he's there. She thinks about Jiandan, about how openly and fully she had loved someone, how she'd wanted the whole world to witness it. It hurts that things ended this way. It started going wrong right from the beginning. Zhenhua talks his way onto a boat to a small island and finally finds her. She's sitting in the middle of the island, hugging her knees, crying. When she sees him, there's a flicker of something, not quite what she hoped for, but still, he came. Gang walks home crying because she was scared. Jiandan might not come back alive, and there was nothing she could have done. When Zhenhua calls to say he found her, Gang crumples with relief. Han Shu calls Gang to ask her to pass along an apology to Jiandan. Alone against a wall, he breaks down. Love is strange that way. The one who gives the most is always the one who hurts the most. Zhenhua checks the tide schedule, runs to arrange a boat, and goes back to get her. Jiandan takes one last look at the island and lets the tears come. Back at the dock, Gang and Ui have both fallen asleep waiting. Zhenhua encourages Gang and Ui, telling them to keep pushing, both of them, toward their goals. Jiandan and Zhenhua sit on the shore and watch the sun go down. She thanks him for coming. When morning arrives and Jiandan walks back and safe and sound, Gang runs and wraps her arms around her. Teacher Zhang is waiting too, quietly terrified, though his first move is to scold all of them. Gang and Ui notice. He's wearing a scarf that belongs to a woman teacher. Don eventually transfers to the humanities track. She feels lighter there, and there's nothing wrong with that. Hanshu doesn't owe her anything. Loving someone and not being loved back is a loss you have to carry yourself. A few weeks later, Gang Zheng will travel to Beijing to sit the university entrance exam for film school. Life is about to turn a new page for both of them. She arrives in Beijing and calls Zhang Nianian to come meet her. They haven't seen each other since she transferred away, and they catch each other up over a meal. Ui and Jomo pull their suitcases into the city ready to take on everything. They're placed in a special preparation room to focus entirely on studying. Ui still makes time to call Gang one last time before the school confiscates his phone. They talk for a while, savoring it. The morning of the entrance exam, Gang takes a photo with both her parents. Lu Xingye comes to take her around, showing her his university campus and the places that have become part of his world. Then the exam day arrives. She gives everything she has. That night, Ui finds a way to call her one more time and encourages her quietly from across the miles. When the results are posted, she can't face the list herself and sends her dad to look. He comes out beaming. She passed. She beat her own best. Ui sneaks a call to tell her and gets his phone taken by the teacher before he can finish the sentence. That evening, Gang notices her mom's sweater is worn through at the sleeves. Her mom brushes it off and says Gang is going to need a lot of things going forward, so every little bit counts. Both her parents love her completely, fully. There's no space left in either of them for anything else. The next morning, Lu Xingye takes Gang to the film academy to watch students rehearse. He asks her to dinner, and she says yes. On the other side of the city, Ui sneaks into the teacher's room to find his confiscated phone. He almost makes it out before getting caught. His teacher is firm. He makes one last call to Gang. She doesn't pick up. He puts the phone back and walks out. Gang tries to call her mom to get permission to go to dinner with Lu Xingye, but ends up agreeing to go home instead. She texts Lu Xingye to reschedule. Ui, resourceful even under pressure, tries to fix a public payphone with equipment from the physics lab. Turns out even the sharpest mind in class has limits. Lu Xingye meets Gang outside and tells her it'll be a long time before he sees her again. He looks at her like someone memorizing a face. Then he leans in and kisses her gently on the forehead, telling her they'll meet again someday. She turns and runs into the restaurant, where her parents are waiting. The three of them raise their glasses. It's been a long time since she sat down to eat with both of them. Back at Zhenhua, Ui is used to being at the top. Here, in this pressure cooker of elite preparation, his mind keeps drifting. He can't settle. He grabs a piece of equipment from the physics lab and tries again to fix the phone. This time it works. He calls Gang. She bursts into tears the moment she hears his voice. On the other side of the room, her examiners think she's delivering an extraordinary audition performance. They nod along, impressed. When the results come out, she wants to check herself this time. She looks down the list. Her name isn't there. She failed. She and her dad take the train home in silence. Ui, sitting in his own room far away, stares at the ceiling and texts her. 3 years of everything he's worked for feel wasted in a single afternoon. But is failing one exam really the worst thing that can happen? Every closed door is just a wall, until you find the one beside it that opens. Both of them return to Zhenhua to prepare for the national college entrance exam. Ui is struggling emotionally and makes the difficult decision to pull back from Gang so he can focus completely. At home, his mom can't stop asking about the exam. She means well, but it's suffocating. The next morning, Gang quietly leaves a bun on his desk before he arrives. He sees it and hands it back, says he's already eaten. He stands at the window looking at nothing. She asks if he wants to listen to music with her. They stand by the window together, looking out at the distance. He asks her if he's let her down, whether she wants to see him cry. The exam draws closer, the pressure on the whole year group is immense. Zhang Jiao, the girl who was sharp-tongued and difficult from the very beginning, breaks under it and tries to hurt herself. She's pulled back in time, but there will be lasting consequences. It's a devastating reminder that an exam, no matter how pivotal it feels, can't be the only measure of a person's worth. If it doesn't go the way you hoped, it's not the end. Ui's mom is still pulling every string she can. She comes to school, watches her son through the classroom window, and then tracks down Gang. She asks Gang to back off, to pull away from Ui gradually, so he loses interest on his own and stays focused. Gang holds her ground and tells her the truth. Hiding behind love isn't love. If she actually trusts and cares for her son, she'll believe in him. Then Jiandan gets accused of cheating by a proctor, a false accusation that costs her a guaranteed university placement. That evening, the four of them sit down to dinner together. They raise glasses of orange juice and make a promise to each other. They'll all get in. Ui walks Gang home afterward. She apologizes for things she wasn't even even entirely responsible for. She just wants him to talk to her instead of carrying everything alone. They agree, together, to stop holding back. One more day of preparation remains. Teacher John Ping stands at the front of the class and goes over everything. Pencils, rulers, ID cards, every detail, like a general before a battle. 3 years have brought all of them here. There have been people who left and people who stayed, failures and breakthroughs. Gang raises her camera one last time and photographs the whole class. One shot from 11th grade, one from 12th. On the final day, everyone cries. The alarm goes off. After 2 days of national exams, Gang still rolls out of bed and bumps her head on the way. She gets to school barely believing it's over. She runs around looking for Yuhui. He's not there. She calls, no answer. She goes to the tree they planted together, the one he'd promised to say something important to her beside. After the exam, she's here. He isn't. 5 years later, Gang has become a professional photographer, confident, composed, and still as determined as ever. She decides the work she's been doing no longer suits her and hands in her resignation. Right at that moment, Lu Xingye appears and proposes. She turns him down, warmly but without hesitation. She wants to go home and open her own photography studio, shoot the things that matter to her. So that's exactly what she does. She gets on a plane. The hometown looks different. More cars on the roads, a bigger house for the family. Her dad and her stepmother are overjoyed to have her back, though they still remind her that she should really be getting married. Her stepmother already has a candidate lined up, the dean's son, freshly returned from studying in England. Sounds impressive. But the only person Gang has ever held space for is Yuhui. She's barely back before she has work lined up, a photography assignment for Zhenhua. At the school, she runs into old classmates and teachers. She stops to visit teacher John Ping. For a moment, sitting there together, they're back in those golden days. But no one in their circle has been able to reach Yuhui. He disappeared like smoke. Gang goes back to the old house. The album from high school is still there. She flips through it slowly. Then she gets dressed for a blind date. A shaved head, a broad-educated young man who turns out to be deeply odd. Lu Xingye saves her from it just in time. She jokingly brings him home as a decoy boyfriend, and her parents lose it on her for hiding a relationship from them. Lu Xingye, predictably charismatic and completely unbothered by rules, stuns them just by being himself. Then her stepmother's son gets hurt at a soccer game, and the whole family rushes to the hospital. Lu Xingye follows. He ends up asleep in the hallway, clutching the kid's patient file. Gang thanks him by taking him out for a drink. He drops his phone directly into the glass to prove a point about his feelings. He would do anything for her. He means it. Her friends have been helping her decode a Sudoku puzzle that turned out to be a set of coordinates. She follows them. She walks in and briefly thinks the figure she sees is Yuhui. It isn't. She's chased something that leads nowhere. Lu Xingye is frustrated watching her. He tells her he'll find Yuhui himself, dead or alive. He takes her to Yuhui's old address. He moved away some time ago. Lu Xingye is furious. If Yuhui is alive and well, he has no excuse for letting Gang spend years searching for him. He confesses again. She doesn't answer. She just buries her face in his shoulder and cries. Accepting would mean lying to herself. Jian calls on video. She's just found out that Zhenhua and Yuhui spent the last 4 years in the same place together. Yuhui only moved away when Jian arrived. Gang curls up in the hospital waiting room, crying with her phone in her hands. He was right there all those years and never reached out. It's too much to hold. She stands up, and there, in that hallway, she walks straight into Yuhui. She asks him one question. Is he doing well in America? He says yes. His phone rings. It's his father. She quickly asks whether he ever looked for her when he was in Beijing. He doesn't say anything. He just walks away. The next morning, Yuhui comes to her place asking to stay. His mom has been hospitalized and he's exhausted. At her apartment, he stretches out on the sofa. She sits beside him and notices something on his arm, a small tattoo mark, a trace of something she once drew on him years ago. She never thought he'd actually have that tattooed. They sit and talk, but the ease between them is gone. She closes the distance and kisses him. Everything she's been carrying for 10 years pours into that moment. She asks him why. After getting into Zhenhua, he never told her. They had made a promise. He pulls away and leaves her sitting there alone. More promises broken than kept. The next morning at the hospital, Lu Xingye arrives in a suit, holding flowers. Yuhui sees him and assumes things have moved forward between them. Lu Xingye backs him against the wall. Because of Yuhui, Gang has been waiting in Beijing for 10 years. Does he have any idea what that looked like from the outside? He's about to swing when Gang calls him off. Lu Xingye takes out a ring. Gang slides it onto her own finger and writes something on a piece of paper. She invites Yuhui to her wedding. Lu Xingye drives her away. She asks him to pull over. She wants to walk. She goes to the empty lot where she and Yuhui once planted a tree together. She wraps her arms around it and cries for a long time. Time can change everything, Everything except the feeling. All of our choices come from the heart, and that's exactly why we don't regret them. She sends Lu Xingye a message apologizing. She can't keep his ring. Doing so would be using someone else's love to fill a space that belongs to someone else. Lu Xingye is waiting by the water. He does the thing he once did in high school, throws the glass vial into the water and lets it explode. He walks up to her and holds out his hand. She gives the ring back. He leans in for a goodbye kiss. She steps back, gently. He understands. He turns and walks away. The one who loves more is always the one who loses. Gang Gang goes to visit Yuhuai's mother. Her condition is serious. Every sentence she says is heavy with guilt, with the weight of knowing how much damage her own anxieties caused. Yuhuai asks to speak with Gang Gang alone. He tells her that over the past 10 years, he did look for her, but every time he found her, she seemed to be living well, and he'd turn around and leave. She was foolish, he says, to wait 10 years for him. He tells her he doesn't feel worthy anymore. She's grown. He hasn't kept pace. He isn't brave enough to love who she is now. Gang Gang pulls out every unsent message she'd written him over the years and hands them over. He reads through all of them. Something settles in him. He's carried this long enough. It's time to go find her and finish the story. Gang Gang is waiting beside that empty lot. Yuhuai finally comes. He's a little late, but he comes. And that's where the story ends. If you enjoyed this video, a like and a subscribe would mean the world. It helps me keep making more. Until next time.